Bruce Carrington versus Jose Enrique Vivas. This is the co-main event of Xander Zayas and Patrick Teixeira card. 10 rounds in the 126-pound division. Let's get into it. Let's start with Bruce Shu Shu Carrington. 11 wins, no losses, 7 wins by way of knockout. Carrington's been looking very impressive in his recent fights. I mean, his fight against Jason Sanchez, I felt like was a statement that he was trying to make, and a statement that I believe he was successful at doing, at least to me, because, you know, Jason Sanchez isn't quite the talent that Carrington is, you know, but he's a tough fighter, and he's going to dig deep and make it a tough and grueling type of fight. He's been in there with champions in his own right and has always put forth a great performance and a great showing and gave his opponents a tough fight. And Shu Shu Carrington was able to get him out of there and dominate the fight in 2 rounds. Right? Sanchez, a guy who has never been stopped before. So when you can stop someone who hasn't been stopped before, it brings your confidence to a certain different type of level. But this is the thing with Carrington as well, too, is he doesn't need the extra confidence boost because he believes in himself. He believes in his skills. He trusts in his team. He knows what he can do. When we talk about knowing what he can do, he knows he's got the speed. He's strong. He's got the precision, the combination work, the athleticism. But probably the thing that I like about him the most is the calm demeanor and poise and being able to control his emotion. It's easy to get amped up and it's easy to get excited for a fight and come out swinging and feed too much into the excitement and the emotion rather than the execution of the game plan that you've been implementing throughout your preparation for the fight. And Shu Shu Carrington does a great job of staying composed and disciplined and executing his game plan. You know, in his most recent fight, he fought Bernard Torres, and I like that fight. I like that matchup for the both of them because we were going to see a little bit of a test with Shu Shu Carrington to see how he was going to handle this different type of style, because Torres was a little smaller, but he's fast, he's explosive, and he's a guy that can also punch, and he's athletic. Do you know, I didn't feel like when we did the breakdown of that fight, I went with Shu Shu Carrington by stoppage because simply I just felt like I didn't think that Torres was going to be able to keep up with Shu Shu for 10 rounds. And I think at some point they were going to meet in the middle of the ring and it was going to be a test of will. You know, that ego was going to come forth and it was going to be the guy who was just a little bit meaner, that extra grit about them. And knowing kind of Shu Shu's story and his background, he had that grit. He's not afraid to go where the fight is going to go. And when the fight started, man, Torres, you know, he was always used to being the one and kind of in control, but he wasn't doing the greatest job of fighting off the back foot, trying to evade punches and trying to worry about what was coming back at him. Whereas Shu Shu, man, just put heavy pressure on him and made Torres uncomfortable. And Torres is a guy who needs a little bit of space and a little bit of separation in order for his skill set to be on display and for him to be at his best. And Carrington didn't really give him that type of time to be able to have that separation. And he was able to not just look fantastic doing what he did, but being able to close out the show in 4 rounds and how he did it. Carrington, I felt like, to me, just from my eyes, he's developed much more as an inside fighter. He's improved on his timing, and he's improved defensively in the small things. The knockout against Torres, man, you know, I heard a lot of people saying, man, it was a fluke shot that came in, and I don't believe it was a fluke knockdown or a fluke knockout, right? He knew what Torres was trying to do when he timed it, so when Torres tried to throw, Carrington stepped back just enough space and countered with the right hand and landed cleanly on Torres's chin, and it was over with. Sometimes when a fighter is fighting at home, it's not always the greatest performance. And the fight that comes to mind just off the top of my memory is when Regis Prograis fighted Zarella, right? Prograis said, man, it was actually very, very hard fighting at home because it's familiar territory. Everybody knows you. Everybody wants things from you. And Shu Shu Carrington hasn't really had that problem, at least so far. He's been able to perform and perform well at home, and he's going to be looking to do the same at home again on the night. But let's talk about his opponent, Jose Enrique Vivas. 23 wins, 3 losses, 12 wins by way of knockout. The 2 fights that come to mind when I think of Vivas, man, is when he fought Eduardo Baez. The fight between them, both men combined for over 1,500 punches. And then when he fought Joet Gonzalez, I think they combined for about the same, somewhere in that ballpark. When you fight Vivas, man, you got to worry about the volume. You know, he's not a slick mover like that. He's not a boxer staying on the outside using the jab. That's just not his style. That's not the way how he gets down. He's a guy that wants to brawl. He's a guy that wants to give us that old school, you know, nostalgic feeling of the old school guys who they used to stand right in front of each other and throw hands and throw shots. And it was going to be Imano versus Imano. And the guy who was going to be the strongest, toughest was going to be the one who was standing at the end. Do I think this is a fight that's going to have 1,500 punches? Absolutely not, because you have to have both guys willing to be able to do that. And Shu Shu is smart enough to not put himself in that position. He's going to be smart. Both times in Vivas's fight, when he fought Baez and Joet Gonzalez, even though he threw for a crazy amount of punches, he did come up short and lost both of those fights. When he fought Joet Gonzalez, man, Gonzalez made some great adjustments by using the jab to create a separation, because at the beginning, he did get sucked into fighting that close range, right in front of you pocket type of fight, and he was not doing the best defensively, but he made some very good adjustments by creating separation, using the jab and slipping in variety of shots and not just being predictable with the overhand right, overhand left, but creating that separation with the jab and slipping in uppercuts and slipping in different shots. He wasn't being predictable, whereas Vivas, man, he became very predictable and the shots got easier and easier to get through. Vivas is not a defensive wizard out there, man. He's a straightforward, come forward. He believes in his chin. He believes that he can overpower you with volume, you know, and he got hit with some shots from Joet Gonzalez that I was surprised that, you know, he was still standing from it. I mean, he got clipped up. He got clipped up like a newspaper article. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got hit with some shots, but he's a strong and durable fighter who's never been stopped before. How Vivas can win this fight, to me, man, is to make it ugly like how he likes it. Try and overwhelm Bruce Carrington with volume, with pressure, straight punches and combinations, and trying to suck him into fighting your fight. Carrington is going to get his shots off, man. To this point, Vivas has shown that he can stand up to punches, that he can take shots. He's got a great chin, you know, but Carrington's going to be looking to create and give a different outcome in this fight, man. So who wins? Before I give my pick on this fight, I have something real quick to share. You know, I'm always looking to bring more light, more value, more opportunities for the community. I've been working on a few different things in recent weeks to not just grow the channel, but as I said, to continue to provide as much value as I can to each of you in our community. With that being said, I got some exciting news to share. I'm happy to announce my partnership with Betstamp and Sign Up Expert. It's a great opportunity for you to join some of the best sports books to get the best odds and new user offer. All you have to do is head over to my dedicated page at signupexpert.com/thebreakdown to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with its own unique offerings. So if you want to place a bet this weekend and on this fight and beyond, check out the link to find the best options for you in your region. Every sign up does support the channel, and it helps the channel grow and to expand and to create more opportunities, not just for me, but for our community. You know, I'm always looking out for you guys as best as I can. You can easily find the link in the description below this videos and videos moving forward. So get down there and check it out and find the best option for you. Now, let's get back to the video. I think this is going to be a very good test for Carrington, because he's going to have to weather some of the storm in this fight when he's going to be under pressure, because he is going to be under pressure in this fight. Vivas, again, as I said, is a simple fighter, man. The game plan is simple. But he executes what he does well, and that's going to throw punches and try to break down his opponents. He's done that before. Carrington, as I said, man, he's going to have to weather some of that storm, but stay calm in this storm and find the right timing to get his shots off and limit some of the shots that's coming back at him. That defense going to have to be on point on this night. His counterpunching has to be sharp and precise on the night. And if he can go to the body, Gonzalez was going to the head a whole lot, but the body was open. So he makes you think like, man, if Gonzalez would have went to the body, what would have been different in that fight? Could he have really slowed down Vivas? So we'll see what game plan both men have and what Shu Shu is going to do in this fight and how he's going to go about it, man. Personally, I think Shu Shu Carrington has more ways to win this fight than Vivas does. I think it's a step-up fight for Carrington, and I'm expecting a tougher fight because Vivas is durable and because he's going to impose that physicality and that volume, and it just makes you do different things. Not that Shu Shu will get out of character, I don't believe that, but it poses a different puzzle, and regardless of the puzzle, I believe he is going to figure out how to solve that puzzle and find a solution. I like Bruce Shu Shu Carrington to win this fight by decision. If he can stop Vivas in this fight, man, I think that would be another statement made to stop a guy who hasn't been stopped before, who's fought some championship contender level fighters, and Shu Shu comes out and stop him. If he does that, man, best believe he's well on his way to being a future champion down the road. He already is, but I think this would serve another statement on the night. But I like Shu Shu Carrington by decision. So those are my thoughts. I would love to hear from you. How do you think this one goes? Who do you have winning? Let me know in the comment section below. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a couple ways that you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I don't always get to do all the suggested videos you guys suggest in the comment section below, but if you become a member, those suggested videos rise to the top, and I will do my best to get those done for you that week. Or if you'd like to become a member, just to show love and to support the channel, man, that would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated as well. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next